So I know it's been a while since we were reading from our Shoeshine Girl book. So just kind of to summarize what's happened so far to help your memory. Remember, Sarah Ida was sent to live with Aunt Claudia for the summer because her mom was sick and her dad was gone for work a lot, and she was having some social issues, and her mom was kind of afraid she was going down a bad path, and so she thought getting her out of that situation for the summer would maybe help her. And so they had some rough patches when she first got there, and she was kind of testing the boundaries, and her and Aunt Claudia weren't getting along super well at first. And she also stole money from Rossi, who was trying to be her friend. And so she didn't really get off to a good start, but she ended up getting a job at Al's Shoeshine Corner. And that's kind of helping her learn more responsibility. And, at first, that wasn't really her intention to actually keep this job. She thought if she got a job, Aunt Claudia would just give in and give her some money. But she was wrong, and so she's been going to work for Al and learning some things from him. She got in trouble with him for calling a customer stingy guts because he didn't give her a tip. And so he's explaining to her, they don't have to tip you, that's their choice, and they're not going to tip you unless you do an extra good job. And so she's kind of learning the value of hard work and some different things from Al. And in the last chapter that we read, on her way home one day, there was this boy kind of following her down the street, and he stopped her and told her that she had his job. And she didn't really know what he meant by that. And so she asked Al about it, and he just said, well, I offered him a job at one time, but he never took me up on the offer, so I'm not sure what he's talking about. But she then saw him a couple times later watching her again on her way home. And she found out his name is Kicker. That's all we really know about him so far. So this is going to be, chapter 7 and 8. So chapter 7, the medal. Every evening after work, Sarah Ida was tired, but every morning she was ready to go back to the Shoeshine Corner. It wasn't that she liked shining shoes, but things happened at the Shoeshine stand. Every customer was different. Every day she found out something new. Some things she learned by herself, like how much polish to use on a shoe. A thin coat gave a better and quicker shine. Some things Al told her. When a customer comes here, he gets more than a shine, he said. He gets to rest in a chair. When you rub with the cloth, it feels good on his feet. When you tie his shoelace a little tighter, it makes his shoes fit better. My customers go away feeling a little better. Anyway, I hope they do. One warm, cloudy afternoon, he said, we might as well close up. Why? She asked. It's only 3 o'clock. It's going to rain. Nobody gets a shine on a rainy day. He began to put away the brushes and shoe polish. She helped him. Maybe you can run home before the rain, he said. A few big drops splashed on the sidewalk. No, too late now. They sat under the little roof out of the rain. Hear that sound? He said. Every time I hear rain on a tin roof, I get to thinking about when I was a boy. We lived in an old truck with a tin roof over the back. You lived in a truck? Most of the time. We slept under the tin roof, and when it rained, the sound put me to sleep. We went all over the South in that truck. You and your mother and father? My dad and I. What were you doing driving all over the South? My dad sold medicine. What kind? Something to make you strong and keep you from getting sick. Did you take it? No, I guess it wasn't any good. She'd never heard him talk much about himself before. She wanted him to go on. Was it fun living in a truck? Fun? I wouldn't say so. Riding along was all right. Sometimes my dad and I stopped close to the woods, and that was all right too. but I never liked it when we were in town selling medicine. Dad would play the mouth harp, and he made me sing. He wanted me to dance a jig, too, but I never could. She tried to imagine Al as a little boy. She couldn't at all. Why did he want you to sing and dance? She asked. To draw a crowd. When there was a crowd, he sold medicine. We didn't stay anywhere very long, except once. We stayed in one place 6 months. My dad did farm work, and I went to school. He told her about the school. It was just outside of town. The teacher was Miss Miller. The schoolhouse had only one room. There was this big stove, he said, and that winter I kept the fire going. Miss Miller never had to carry coal when I was there. Did you like her? Asked Sarah Ida. Was she a good teacher? Best teacher I ever had. Of course, she was just about the only one. I hadn't been to school much, but she took time to show me things. Do teachers still give medals in school? Sometimes, not very often. Miss Miller gave medals. They were all alike. Everyone had a star on it. At the end of school, you got one if you were the best in reading or spelling or writing or whatever it was. Everybody wanted a medal, but I knew I'd never get one because I wasn't the best in anything. And at the end of school, you know what happened? What? She called my name. The others all thought it was a joke, but she wasn't laughing. She said, Al wins a medal for building the best fires. And it wasn't a joke? Asked Sarah Ida. No, she gave me the medal. One of the big boys said, You better keep that, Al, because it's the only one you'll ever get. And did you keep it? He held up his watch chain. Something was hanging from it, something that looked like a worn old coin. That's what you won? Asked Sarah Ida. He nodded. That's a medal? That little old piece of tin? She said. She shouldn't have said it. As soon as the words were out, she was sorry. Al sat very still. He looked into the street. A moment before, he had been a friend. Now, he was a stranger. He said, Rain stopped, for a while anyway. He slid out of his chair. She got up too. She began. He dragged the folding door across the stand and locked up. Go on, run, he said. Maybe you can get home before the rain starts again. She stood there. I didn't mean what you think I did, she said. That medal, it doesn't matter if it's tin or silver or gold. It doesn't matter what it's made of, if it's something you like. I said the wrong thing, but it wasn't what I meant. He had his back to her. She didn't think he was listening. She said, Listen to me. He turned around. You like ice cream? Yes, she said. Come on, I'll buy you a cone. She went with him around the corner to Pearl's ice cream shack. What kind? He asked. Chocolate, she said. They sat on a bench inside the shack and ate their chocolate cones. It's raining again, he said. Yes, she said. Then they were quiet while they listened to the rain, and she was happy because the stranger was gone and Al was back. Chapter 8. The Accident. For a month it went on that way, she and Al working and talking together. She'd thought it would go on and on like that. Then came the day of the accident. Al had run out of black shoe polish. He told her, I'll go over to the store and pick up some more. I'll go, she said. No, he said, you keep on with what you're doing. She finished with her customer. By that time, Al was coming back across the street. He hardly ever walked. He almost always ran. He was running now with his head down. He was nearly to the curb when a long blue car came around the corner. She shouted, but she was too late. The car struck him. He spun around and fell, half on the sidewalk, half on the street. The car stopped. A man jumped out. His face was pale. He walked right in front of me, he said. I couldn't stop. Other people came running. Don't try to move him, someone said. Wait for the ambulance. The ambulance came screaming down Grand Avenue. It stopped near the stand. Sarah Ida pushed through the crowd. She saw Al lying across the curb. He looked like a bundle of old clothes. 2 men in white were there. They turned him over. She saw his eyes looking up at her. He reached into his pocket. One of the men said, Don't move. Something fell out of Al's hand and onto the sidewalk. She picked it up. It was the key to the shoeshine stand. Lock up, he said in a whisper, and go home. The 2 men lifted him into the ambulance. The ambulance went screaming on down the street. The crowds moved away. Sarah Ida was alone, and she felt numb. She went over to the stand and sat down. On the sidewalk was the can of shoe polish Al had bought. She sat looking at it. Someone spoke to her. It was a man she knew, a customer. "Where's Al?" "He's gone," she said. "Well, can you give me a shine?" He climbed into a chair. She could hardly think, but her hands knew what to do. She shined his shoes. Another customer came by. She shined his shoes. Then a tall young man was there. She had never seen him before. "I'm from the newspaper," he said. "Did you see the accident?" She nodded. "What happened?" "He was coming across the street, and the car... She couldn't go on. "What's your name?" he asked. She told him. "Any relation to Claudia Becker?" "She's my aunt." "Are you visiting her?" "Yes." "How old are you?" "About 10?" "Nearer 11." "How long have you worked here?" "A month." "Are you going to keep the stand open?" She said suddenly. "Yes, I am." "Good luck to you," the man said, and he went away. A customer came, then another. She hoped someone would bring her news of Al, but no one did. Late in the day, she took off her apron and closed the stand. She wasn't sure where Al lived, but she knew it was on the other side of town. She went down Grand Avenue and across the railroad tracks. She came to streets where the houses were small and close together. She asked several people, "Do you know where Al Winkler lives?" At last, she found someone who told her. She found the house. It was tiny and it needed paint. A woman came to the door. Sarah Ida asked, "Could I see Al?" The woman had been crying. She said, "Al's not here. He's been hurt." "Didn't the ambulance bring him home?" asked Sarah Ida. "No, he's in the hospital," said the woman. "You must be Sarah Ida. I'm Doris. I'm Al's wife. Come on in." Sarah Ida went into a small, neat room. "I just came from the hospital," said the woman. "How is he?" asked Sarah Ida. "I don't know. They don't tell you anything." Tears ran down the woman's cheeks. "I don't know what we're going to do." "I brought you this." Sarah Ida took the money out of her pocket and put it down on a chair. "It's what I made today. I kept out some change. I'll need that for tomorrow." "Thanks," said the woman. "I'll be over again. I hope Al's going to be all right." Sarah Ida went home. Aunt Claudia said, "Do you know what time it is? I've been waiting." She saw Sarah Ida's face. "What is it?" she asked. Sarah Ida